CBS and the SBA will fight to the end and lead the way, yeah. Sing out together. These are sky blue days. These are sky blue days. The CBS and the SBA will fight to the end and lead the way, yeah. Sing out together. Sky Blue Fans TV, for the fans, by the fans.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Sky Blue Fans TV. My name's Mark Smith. Tonight we'll be talking about the 3-3 draw against Swansea City at the CBS Arena, and also look ahead to Wednesday night's game at home to West Bromwich Albion. Tonight I've been joined by Myles. Myles, good evening. How are you doing?
Good evening. Yeah, not too bad. Just watched the World Cup final. Absolutely,
yeah.
What a game. What a game of football. It was
probably the best final I've ever seen. And also a team in Sky Blue couldn't hold on to win in normal time, I guess. But it was kind of been a bit of the theme of the weekend, isn't it, really? So it happens to the best. It happens to the best team in the world, you see. Even the best team in the world can concede, a plus one goal lead type of thing. So, but let's get this game out of the way, and we'll talk about West Brom. So, before we go to the game itself, one change made from the defeat at Reading. Jack Burrows comes into the team ahead of Josh Eccles, who it turns out is out for quite a while now. I think six weeks due to an injury in training. I can't remember what the injury was, but it just seems to get just rotten luck with players, isn't there? With McFadden being out, obviously Tyler Walker and Goddard also fairly long-term injuries. It's not looking great, isn't it? The squad's really stretched, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, we knew the squad was going to be stretched at the beginning of the season with the amount of players that were signed. Earlier signing one permanent, signed 3 loans, one went back to Crystal Palace. So we knew we were going to get stretched at some point through this season. But we were all probably hoping that players would get fit during the international break for the World Cup. But in a way, players got injured instead of recovering. So, yeah, it's not good. But we knew this was going to happen, and then we know exactly what we've got to do in January, don't we? We've just got to strengthen at the back. We've got to strengthen wing backs. We've got to strengthen in the middle, and let's see what goes on from there. But yeah, it's just a shame about Josh Eccles. He's been inferential where he's been playing. For his age, to be able to put him in midfield or at right wing back is just testament to Robin's management and Aid's coaching. Just superb.
Yeah, I mean, it's been one of the rotten luck seasons for the team, for individual players. It's been a very stop-start season for reasons that we all know about. I guess the comment about strengthening January, of course, that depends on what happens with the ownership situation and whether, who's going to be the owner. Is it going to be Duck? Will the King deal be ratified? And, what happens if it is and when it is ratified? Does that, hopefully it means that we'll be in a position where we can keep our best players and then we can add to it. As you mentioned, there's a lot of positions in the team that need strengthening because we are really down to the bare bones now. But let's go on to the game itself. I mean, let's be honest. We played really well and everyone who watched the game yesterday will have known that for the first 68 minutes of that game before they scored that first goal, we were fantastic. We played some brilliant football. Yes, Swansea had a lot of possession, which I think we all expected that to happen. But when we got the ball, we looked like we could score at any opportunity. And even before Panto's first goal, we could easily have had 2 goals, really. I mean, Callum O'Hare should have scored with a volley, puts it wide, when he should probably easily hit the target, and Vic misses the 1-on-1. But we looked really good, didn't we, in the first half?
Yeah, I thought we started to look like we did before the World Cup break. They were really passing it fluidly. It was working really well. The off the ball movement was just out of this world, to be honest with you. The style of football we played for that 68 minutes was just ridiculous, but as you said, Swansea got hold of the ball. They were kept possession, but they didn't really look like scoring. And I think they only had one shot on goal in the first half, which was a free kick, if I recall. That was just before the break. But we had a game plan, and I just think we started to click, and maybe I said round about 65, maybe 60 minutes. I think I said to Will, I said they're looking a bit leggy. They started to look a bit tired because the thing with Swansea is they keep hold of the ball, and when a team keeps hold of the ball, you grinding the opposition down, and we were trying to chase the ball, and we were winning 3-0. And I just think that lack of training in the week. I think they couldn't get out on the pitch because of the frozen pitch at Brighton. So I think they only had 1.5 days worth of training last week. So you probably could see that, and when you've got come up against a team that hold the ball so well, that will tire you out. And then they've just. But our goal, Vic's goal, I just watched it again a minute ago because I was mesmerised by the passing, and it was just beautiful.
Quality,
Brilliant. I mean, Wilson just kicks the ball out her hair, nods it down, it gets knocked forward, it's knocked onto her hair again, her hair plays it across, and the way we worked that goal was superb. And yes, we're gutted we gave away 3 goals, and to fair play to Swansea, they kept going and going and going. And when the first goal went in, I thought, here we go. You could just sense something was happening. And it's such a shame because the whole 68 minutes was phenomenal from us. Even Mark Robbins said it on the radio after. He said that first 65 minutes was superb. Probably some of the best football we played all season.
I thought the third goal, Gyökeres' third goal, was just absolutely, as you mentioned there, it's absolutely sublime. The football, the one-touch football. If you saw that goal today at the World Cup final, every media outlet we waxed lyrical. It was a quality goal, and it just shows what we're capable of going forward as a team. We just needed to keep that momentum going. But I think you hit the nail on the head there. I think Swansea really ground us down with their passing. If you're playing against a side that are more direct and play a lot of long ball, I think we would have won the game. But because you're playing against a team like a Swansea who, you should say we defended too deep. I mean, we'll go more into the second half. I just want to focus on the first half. I thought Panzo's header was a great header. Brilliant. Looking back, I thought, how's the keeper not saved it? But I was a bit surprised that they didn't have anyone on the back post. It was, but anyway, that was that, and we got to a good start. And I thought 1-0 going to 1-0. I thought, you know what, we can win this game today. And then, Jamie Allen scores a great strike for 2-0, left foot shot. And Jamie Allen, for me, I would say, is arguably one of our best players this season. Maybe ahead of McFadden, but what he's done well this season compared to last season, Jamie Allen, is he's starting to score goals now. And for me, that second goal was a really, really good strike. Beautiful placement. I was right behind it. I was sitting on the bench side stand, and it was a great goal. And then obviously when Vic scores that great goal, you think 3-0, happy days. We should now go on and see it out. But I don't know. I just think. Do you think Mark Robbins, in hindsight, and hindsight being a wonderful thing, could he have been more proactive there in his substitutions?
Well, no. He mentioned in the interview after, he said his hands were tied because no one on the bench had really played any proper football. You had Waggy, who's not really played. You had Kane, who only came on last week against Reading for 10, 15 minutes. Dabo's not 100% fit, so he had to put him on the bench. He had no one else to put on the bench. Kelly's been out for months, and his hands were tied. You can't. You're not going to change a game if you haven't got 100% fit players on the bench. It's just not going to happen.
I take that point, but listening to the interview on CWL yesterday, Mark Robbins said that Jack Burrows had cramp, and that was the reason why. And the criticism I've got is when we're in that position, we've got to learn, and you've said this before in previous shows, Miles, to use the dark arts of football. Slow the game down. Go if you've got a bit of cramp, go down. Look, we'll hate it when opposition teams do it to us, and we'll moan, and we're all hypocrites for doing this. But listen, this is a game of football, it's 3 points at stake, to win. It's a big, a win yesterday would have put us around 8th position in the league. And we just need to learn to be a bit more streetwise. I'm not saying that's the reason why we drew the game, but I think you've got to try and win whatever you can at all costs within reason. And I think that's the one thing sometimes we're a bit too nice a team for opposition teams. And that's not wholly the reason, but we could have been a bit more streetwise. That's the one thing I would say. Going to your second point about players on the bench, I just feel, look, I take your point about lack of training, but come on, we need 20. What we're asking for as fans is get players on 20 minutes a game and give it everything. You could have brought on Casey Palmer and got rid of Callum O'Hare. Callum O'Hare has done his job. Take off Jamie Allen for Liam Kelly. You strengthen that midfield, or take off a centre half and play 4 at the back and play 5 in the midfield, 3 across the middle. You've got to do everything you can to get that result and make it as hard as you can for Swansea. And I just felt we played into their hands a bit. We were too deep defensively. You look at the goals they scored, the first goal, how deep we are. We don't put a tackle in. Burrows doesn't put a tackle in to stop that cross. And that's what really frustrated me. I just feel that Robins really he should have been more proactive for me. I think he has to take the blame a little bit for this result. I understand but we're stretched. Of course, it's not a great situation. And I think you listen to that interview, he's sending a message out to the owners to say, look, I need help here. I need some resources. We're really stretched. I don't have fit players on the bench. What are you going to do to help me out? And that's effectively what he's telling the owners. Yeah. And that's something that, that's how I'll say anyway.
But he's been saying that for months. He's been saying that for years. He said it last season. He said it last season around December time. He needs help. He said it in the summer. His hands are tied. He's got no money to work with. We can't bring anyone in. You can't. I'm surprised he's still here. I really am surprised the bloke's still here, because he's working miracles. We as fans are bloody saints, because I don't know how we've put up with it all. And as you say, the lack of investment has cost us probably Saturday. It's so difficult to put your finger on it, but unless someone comes in and buys the club, I don't know who it's going to be. Everyone's fishing around. It could be King, could be Story, could be Ashley. Something's got to happen this week. We've got a week, 2 weeks before the transfer window opens. And Robins, as you said in his interview, he is crying out to say, I need some investment. This is all I've got. And you can't. I mean, Burrows, what a game he had. He was absolutely fantastic yesterday. He came in, he just took it on. I mean, there was a move in the first half. You were talking about the first half. We got Swansea on the break, and Jack Burrows just left them standing. And he played the ball into Vic. Vic then played it across back to Burrows, and Burrows got the cross in. And I think it was someone coming in at the edge of the box, just missed it. He couldn't get onto it. But he played so well, Jack Burrows. He's got a lot of pace. And, the thing is, we've got to hold on to everyone. That's going to be the hardest thing. We've got to hold on to everyone. And to be honest with you, as I say, I can't believe Mark Robins is still here, to be honest with you. If the bloke's got to have, I don't know, he's going to heaven no matter what happens, because he's got to have the heart of a saint to put up with what he's having to put up with. He's brilliant.
I totally agree with that. I just feel yesterday he could have been a bit more proactive. I take his point about players not being 100% match fit, but it's a game of football. It's 3 points on the line, or it's points on the line. And you got to say, look, go to Casey Palmer, give me everything for 20 minutes. I'm not asking for 90 minutes. I want 20 minutes. All I want you to do is, ball gets long, I want you to hold the ball up and just waste a bit of time. That's what I want to do. I want you to hold the ball up, try and bring other players into the game. Like same as Gyökeres, have 2 target men. I mean, that's the way I would have gone. But look, I was going to read out a few comments from our audience. So let's get the first comment in. Skyby saying, I hate the term bottle it used by fans regarding the draw after being 3 up. it's full of bottled character. Bottlers don't win out. Watford beat Blackburn, Sheffield United, Borough, and QPR will rise together. Spot on, Scarby was saying. I totally agree with that, because we have got a really good, resilient team there. We started the season really, bottom of the league, so many problems off the field. The club, they've got character in spades, bucket of spades there for me. So I don't think the case of bottling it. I just think it's a case where I feel the players and the management need to take responsibility. I think management, as much as I love Mark Robins, was not proactive enough in substitutions, and it played. You look at Swansea when they were bringing on substitutions left, right, and centre, and it was no coincidence that the introduction of Joe Allen made a huge impact on that game yesterday. He ran that thing for them, and they were a different side. They looked a side with a much more cutting edge, and I think they just tired us out. We didn't bottle it. I totally disagree with that. It was just a case of they forced us back on the back foot. You've got to give Swansea credit, to be honest. They're not a team. We don't have a good record against them. Swansea fans, I mean, speaking with Amy after the game, who was on the show previously, she was just moaning, saying, "Why could we not play with that at the start of the game?" So it's interesting how both teams are kind of upset for different reasons. But it's a fair point. I mean, Swansea, do you think they're a side that you could see them in the playoffs this season from what you saw, or do you think it's kind of or maybe not?
I think it could be there or thereabouts. I mean, they play some wonderful football. As you've seen, the possession of the football they had yesterday, they grinded us down, and they do look the real deal, because I think they're probably the best footballing team we played this season at home. I believe that. They had nothing to lose, really. They were 3-0 down, so you may as well go for it and probably lose 5-0, or you could pull it back like they did. But yeah, I think they could be there or thereabouts. They should have been last season as well, really, shouldn't they? They absolutely tore us apart last season. We didn't get any points out of them last season. I remember going down to Swansea and we didn't have O'Hare, and they just absolutely tore us apart. We didn't even have an answer. And then at home, obviously, when we played them, they beat us again. So as you say, it's starting to turn out like they're the new Preston for us. But yeah, I think they could probably be knocking on the door. They're a good side. They play the ball nice. I think the only thing for me was, although they got the 3 goals, the first 45, 55 minutes, they had one shot all game. And that's probably where they need to improve if they want to get into the top 6. I think they need to start creating a few more chances. It's all nice passing the ball around, but they weren't really creating anything, was they? And then when they threw caution, exactly, they weren't creating anything, and then they just threw caution to the wind. As I say, they probably, they may as well have lost 5-0 or pulled it back the way they did. So, they had nothing to lose. It's just. I think they'll be all right. I think they're a good team. I think they might sneak into it. I think it's a tall order for us to sneak into it, even though we've got 2 games in hand, and our game on Wednesday night, if we win that, would be 1 point off the playoffs. So, it's.
I'm not even thinking as far as that, to be honest. Realistically, I'm just thinking of staying up. I know that's being negative, but look at the resource we've got to work with. We've got we're literally down to the bare bones. So
definitely, for
me, unless we strengthen, the only way we talk about playoffs is if we really strengthen that side, that squad, and obviously that's hopefully we'll get some news on the off the field stuff this week. We'll come to a few more comments from our audience. The official Flame esports team, shall I say? Lessons to be learned. But the 2/3 of the game were fantastic. Spot on with that. Just Swansea came back into the game, and they've got several results from being from behind this season. Yeah, we've had games where last season we've came from behind and we've scored 90 off minute equaliser and that. So it's football. You win some, you lose some, or you draw some in this case. It's a point more than last season. Yeah, that is one positive, because we've got 0 points from the Swansea game, from either game last season. So that's 1 point gained. West Brom will be a test, but we've got to aim to try and get something for the next 2 games. Then when versus Cardiff and Bristol City, Burrows massive positive. Yeah, I think Burrows, for me, I was really impressed with him at Watford as well. When I saw him there, I thought I think he was marking Myles-Y. Obviously, he's been at the World Cup, and he had him in his pocket. He was superb. I just felt yesterday he was a little bit at fault for their first goal because he needs to put a challenge in and get a tackle in. He needs to either take the ball, take the man, or take both. You know, it doesn't matter if he ends up getting a yellow card for it. If we've got a free kick, we can defend that. That's my slight criticism. But also, Panzo gets a little bit caught out of position for their first goal. He lets their player get sort of goal side and loses their marker, and there you go. But Burrows for me, yeah, definitely massive plus. He has to start. I think he probably will start for West Brom, depending on Dabo's fitness. But I think going from what Robbins is saying, it doesn't sound like Dabo has had a lot of minutes under his belt. So I'd imagine he'll be on the bench for West Brom. Another comment I want to ask you, Miles, from Cano Tomo about Fabio Tavares. Why is he not getting a kick? He should have made the Kane change yesterday. I mean, what's your thoughts on Tavares? Could he have been someone we could have brought on a bit of extra pace maybe in the second half? Or
so I'm going to say what Cano's saying here. I think it's such a shame Tavares isn't getting a run out because he's got electric pace. He probably could have got the ball further up the field for us. Put a bit more. Would have gave us a bit more fresher legs on the pitch, bit of pace to get us up the pitch instead of sitting deep. We probably could have kept pushing out a little bit. It's like during the game, we were putting the high press on for that 60, 65 minutes, and Swansea really didn't like it. So if you switched it for someone like Tavares, who would just run and run and run, you're probably looking at maybe not conceding or maybe just conceding the one. But as you say, hindsight, he didn't do it. If he did it, what would have happened? You just don't know. I think we're just all a bit gutted, aren't we? Because we were 3-0 up. But Tavares, he definitely deserves a run out. And if we're short on bodies, we've got to start using these players because there's no excuse really. You've got to use the players and you've got to get them in there and you've got to give them a go. And Tavares would probably really enjoy it, to be honest with you. He would have probably loved that yesterday because they really were struggling with the high press. And with Tavares, it probably would have given us another outlet. Like you said about Palmer, go out there, Palmer, hold the ball up, just keep the ball up the field so they couldn't push us back. But it happened, didn't it? It happened.
Yeah.
It happened.
I've got another guest who's joining us. That's Ken.
Who's that then?
Mr. Ken.
Oh, he's not in his office today. He's in bed by the looks of it.
No, I'm not actually. I'm in another venue, should I say. I've just been watching a sensational World Cup final, which is fantastic, wasn't it? Brilliant, really, really good. And
in that game, a team in Sky Blue were leading, but they got pegged back. It's a bit like yesterday.
Yeah, it looked like a bit of view from the other day, didn't it? From Saturday, which was well. I'm sure you've been discussing that, haven't you?
I'll tell you what. Do you know what? If we lose Hummel as a kit supplier, I'd love Adidas to be a kit supplier and us to have that Argentina kit, right? That beautiful sky blue and white kit with navy blue shorts to remind us of 1987. It'd be lovely.
Yeah, it would be.
Yeah.
And the tracksuit tops you wear, Miles, as well. The Adidas tracksuit tops, the retro ones, that'd be quite good.
They do nice kits. We've never had Adidas, so that would be nice.
It would be good, yeah.
They do some. So,
want to get your thoughts, Ken, on yesterday. So, I mean, I was just saying earlier to Miles about Robbins' interview, where he's basically sending a message out really to the owners at the moment, saying, "Look, I need help because I've got people on the bench that are not fit, and I don't want to bring them on." When I went with Jeff, who's obviously our guest from the previous show, we were sort of the opinion that really you needed to be a bit more proactive and maybe bring on I'd have gone for a Palmer in place of O'Hare, for example, to get a bit more physicality, a bit more holding the ball up.
Yeah.
Do you think Robbins was in the wrong for not being sort of proactive and not making any changes earlier, or do you think it was just one of those things?
I think it was strange. It's strange that he didn't bring on subs earlier, to be fair, because I thought if he's going to bring O'Hare off, automatically I thought he'd bring Palmer on. He's sort of gone more defensive by bringing Kelly on, isn't he? And I think that's where we slipped up, because we seemed to sit back, didn't we, and let them run at us. And it was totally opposite from the first half, where we created chances, we had them on the back foot all the time, and we were just fantastic in the first half. I think we should have kept attacking, and the problem was, and that people around me were saying the same, Robbie should have swapped players like for like. I think he should have made, and we didn't know. I don't know what the fitness is like for Tavares and people like that. I don't know how fit they were, but if they're on the bench, then obviously they're available to play. Is my thought. So
yeah,
and then they've got to come on, haven't they? Because otherwise, why have them on the bench? Put someone on that's fit, that they can be called upon. That's what.
Yeah, I think we just lost him there momentarily. I think the problem was, aside from all that, you look at the goals they score. We just defend too deep, don't we? Really, that's the thing. And we look at the second goal, for example. We don't really put a tackle in. We let a Swansea player, I think it could be Grimes, I can't remember who it was. He literally has the freedom of Coventry to run into the penalty area. Doyle tries to put a tackle in and misses the ball completely, and then they go and score from like a loose pass from him. And it's just like, when it got to 3-2, I was like, I really, really can't see. I can see us being 3-3, and I was even fearing 4-3, because I'm telling you now, if that game had another 5 minutes to play, I think we'd have lost that game. I really, really do, because I just felt we were absolutely tanked. We were really struggling.
Easily.
So, I know. We're all disappointed with the result. Everyone who's listening, of fellow Sky Blue fans like ourselves, we're all disappointed. But if I could put a positive spin, we've gained a point on them from last season.
Yeah.
We haven't lost, even though it does feel like a defeat, and we all admit to that. It was to me, it's scant consolation, but it's a point on the road. We've got to 30 points now, so we have to sort of just, all you can do as players, or the players need to do is we've got another game in a few days' time to put it right. And West Brom, I think, is probably, if we were playing West Brom, obviously before the Queen's death, you'd say, looking forward to this game, I think we're going to win under Steve Bruce. Now they've got Corcoran as manager, and now they're probably, aside from Burnley, the form team in the division. And this is a game I'm really, really not looking forward to, I have to be honest, with the team, the players we've got available. I'm really dreading it.
I just want to point out, you mentioned about the squad and Robins making changes, blah, blah, blah. And we came up against Swansea. We've got West Brom coming up. We've got 21-man squad. We have. West Brom and Swansea have got a 31-man squad. First team players. That's the difference between the clubs that we're coming up against. That's how short we are. We're 10 players short from other teams. And that's why this has probably happened on Saturday, because we're that short in the team, in the squad. I mean, it's huge. 10 players is huge. It's unbelievable.
I get you. I hear what you're saying. But in my opinion, you've got to utilise what you've got. We've got players, we got to 70 minutes, nearly 70 minutes before they score their first goal. You've got to think, okay, we've got to try and shut up shot. We've got to slow the game down. We can't just let Swansea just have, I know they pass around, but make changes. You've got to be proactive. Get Casey Palmer on. I take Robbins' point about not lack of games, but look, you've got to change tactics. You've got to play long, and all you need to do is hold that ball up and bring other players in to play. That's my thing anyway.
But then you've got to think about, though, as well, if Robbins brings those players in and they're not 100% fit, and they go and pull something while they're on for that 20 minutes, 15 minutes, whatever it is, they could go and injure themselves again and be out for longer. Then the squad's even more thinner. So
yeah, but then they're on the bench. So if they're on the bench, they're ready to play. They should be ready to play.
No, they're not. That's what he's saying. He said they're on the bench because they had to be on the bench. He had no one else.
Why not get kids in?
Because
why can't we find someone else? But
they're not ready, are they?
To me, that's why. Yeah, but players can get injured any time in the game, whether it's pulled muscle, any time. That's why I do the warm up and stuff. I just feel He needs to be more proactive, and that's my biggest criticism. And I'm a massive Robins fan, but I thought you got it wrong yesterday.
Yeah, can I just jump in again? Now? Can you hear me now? I agree with you there, Mark. I agree. If they're on the bench, they should be fit, or near enough. We don't expect them to be 100% fit, but fit enough to play some part of the game at some stage. Because we may need them, and we did need them in the end. But unfortunately, I think he chose the wrong players to come on. I just thought he should have continued to play the way we played in the first half rather than sit back. And we invited Swansea to come and attack us, and we just sat back. And when that first one went in, we were all saying, if they get a second one, we're in trouble. And exactly what happened, weren't it? It just looked, they could have gone on and won it in the end. It would have been a disaster if we'd have lost it. Luckily, we got a draw out of it. But, in the end, we just wasn't doing the things we were doing in the first half. And obviously, he bought the wrong players off. I thought he bought O'Hare off. He maybe should have kept him on, and just done the same. Done the things we were doing in the first half. They used all their subs, didn't they? They used most of their subs, I think, to change it round.
They used 5 subs, yeah.
So they got them back in the game.
Another question I got here from Ken Tomo. Not mine, but we have to look at areas of growth. Another point yesterday was poor. Kind of about Bill Milson's distribution, thinking he needs to go back to basics a bit, trying to be a bit too clever. I did notice that, I thought, with Ben Wilson, where I feel sometimes he needs to go a bit more direct and he goes for a short pass, and I feel like he's playing players in trouble. And I think it doesn't, and then the crowd were getting on his back a bit. I mean, I think that's a fair criticism of Ben. I think Ben Wilson has done a pretty good job, to be fair to him. I think he's done well for us. But I feel, for me, his distribution can be a bit dodgy, in my opinion. I don't know what your views are on Wilson's distribution and his overall performance. Maybe what's your views?
I think yesterday, I think he when they got the goal back, I think he started to panic, and he started to panic. The back three started to panic. Then it spread through to the team, and everyone started rushing it. And then he was made to rush his goal kicks and trying to clear it out. There was a couple of goal kicks that went really short, and you were like, "Oh my word, it's going, straight to them," or it's gone out for a throw in and things like that. They just started to panic yesterday for some reason when Swansea got that first goal back, and that's and when you start panicking, any goalkeeper can just fluff it. And
I think that's where we needed Faz there, didn't we? Fazdeen in there would have been ideal, because he
just
was
to calm it.
We wouldn't have conceded 3 goals if Fazdeen was playing yesterday. I just don't think we would have done that, because he would just try and see the game out if need be. Just get rid of the ball or whatever. Don't be fancy. Just, if you have to get rid of it, get rid of it. And he would have marshalled them at the back to make sure they didn't concede any more.
Well, I think with Fazdeen, I think the thing is what he does well is he anticipates the play really well. He knows he hasn't got the pace, but what he has got, he's got the intelligence to get in the right position and put that block in or stop that crossing. I remember the game at Cardiff, we won by a 1-0 there, and the amount of times he's putting blocks in. He's not the only game, but let's just use that as an example, where his positional play is absolutely superb. And I feel sometimes with our defenders, we can just, for a split second, just switch off. You look at that first goal, and it's only a split second where Panzo just loses that marker, and that's the difference between going out for a corner and a goal being scored. And unfortunately, it was the latter. Likewise, Burrows, I thought, who did do very well yesterday, I felt needed to put a tackle in to stop that cross from coming in. It's just little things like that, and I think I'm totally with you. But we can't really moan about Fazdeen. He's out for 3 months. It is what it is. We can't do anything about that. We have to get on with it. That's an area for me I'd love to see. That's where, you look back on the season, you think, oh, we could have done with Dom Heim yesterday, and things like that. And that's what makes it even more frustrating, really.
I think what you needed as well was someone leadership in there, and Jamie Allen was captain yesterday, and scored a great goal. He had quite a good game, but I didn't see him when we conceded that goal. I didn't see Jamie Allen sort of trying to calm the players down, he wasn't very vocal to the players. He just carried on with his game. Yet when Kelly came on, when we started kicking the ball out accidentally, Wilson was clearing it, wasn't going anywhere. Kelly was trying to tell the players to just calm down, take your time, blah, blah, blah. but Alan weren't doing any of that. So maybe one of the issues may have been there wasn't a leader on the pitch yesterday to just settle the team down, just to slow the pace down, like you said, do a bit of dark arts, and we've got to start doing that. We've got to start doing it. Really,
yeah. It's something that I feel we have done in previous games. But yesterday was the one we needed to do. I just felt like I look at that game. I think if we get to say 80 minutes and not concede, you feel a lot more confident. You think, we've got this game in the bag. But I think it's partly that. I think it's partly Swansea's style of football because of the way that they grind you down. The pass and movement is very good, and it just got to the point where we couldn't seem to push up. We weren't pushing up forward. They were penning us back all the time, and we just. It was a horrible watch, if I have to be honest.
It felt like a defeat, didn't it? At the end.
Yeah, we did. Yeah,
So when you're 3-0 up and you lose like that, you lose goals like that and ends up a draw. It feels like a defeat because they're points we should have had in the bag. They should have been out of sight in the first half, really. If Big Vic would have scored his chances, he could have had a hat-trick, couldn't he? But it's one of them, and just got to move on and put it behind us, I suppose, and learn from it. Hopefully.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. We've got another game to look forward to on Wednesday night. Unfortunately, we haven't got a West Brom guest tonight, which is a shame. But West Brom, another win for them yesterday. I saw the game against Rotherham on the highlights, and from what I saw, they look a different side from the start of the season. They look a side in confidence, and they seem to know where the goal is, and arguably probably the form side in the division, aren't they? Really?
Yeah, I mean, typical that we're playing them now. Yeah, I'd rather play them when Steve Bruce was in charge, obviously, because they looked very poor, didn't they? But they seem to have turned it around a bit now, so we're playing them probably at the worst time. But at the end of the day, if we play like we did in the first half against Swansea, I think we'll beat West Brom. But it depends on what team turns up, doesn't it, on Wednesday, and what sort of what players we've got fit as well. Obviously, if there's a few injuries. But if we play anywhere near like we did in the first half, then we should beat West Brom, no problem. But second half, then you can forget it. But they're a beatable side, West Brom. They are a good side, but I think we're a better side than them. But on the day. But it's down to on the day, isn't it? And how they react from Saturday's 3-3 draw. So we'll see what happens.
I can't really see many. Go on.
No, I was just going to say, mirroring what Ken's going to say there, is what we've got to make sure is we haven't got any more knocks from yesterday. I don't think there was any bad challenges winning yesterday. I think it was quite a clean game by all accounts. But that's one thing we've got to really look at, and that they've recovered well enough over the next couple of days. Especially today. Hopefully they've all chilled out, watched a bit of the World Cup, and take a bit of inspiration from Argentina and France, especially Mbappe's goal. Vic was watching that and tries it himself, But listen, we can beat anyone on the day. Who thought we would have gone 4 wins on the bounce, and West Brom have 5 wins on the bounce, but someone's win run has to come to an end. Ours did last week. We didn't win yesterday, so who's to say that West Brom are going to come to us tomorrow, Wednesday? Sorry, steamrollers. No, because like Ken's just said, if we play like we did the first 65 minutes, I think we'll beat them, because no one. I don't think there's anyone in this league way better than we are. Playing the passing and playing the ball. Swansea are good at passing, but they haven't got a final product. We scored 3 goals from 3 different areas of the pitch yesterday: defender, midfield, and a striker. And that's what you need in a team if you're gonna push on. But I think we've got a good chance against West Brom. Don't be scared of them. We weren't scared of Watford.
No. Well, it's a crazy league when you look. Look at Blackburn. They lose their local derby to Preston, lose at home 1-0, and then they go and beat Norwich, away 2-0. So anybody on the day can beat anybody in this league. You can look at the top of the league and the bottom, and they can beat anybody on the day can beat each other. There's no. I mean, Burnley are the only sort of consistent team at the moment. They seem to be winning most of the majority of their games, don't they? But take anybody else, and take Burnley out of the equation, then anybody in that league is beatable, aren't they, on the day, on any given day, really?
Yeah, easily.
Yeah, I mean, looking at West Brom, they tend to play sort of 4-5-1. Yesterday they went 4-3-3 against Rotherham, so they are a side that can sort of mix their formation up a bit. I think from our point of view, I don't see many changes for this game. I don't think. I wouldn't be surprised if everyone's fit, if the side stays unchanged, really, unless Robbins feels that maybe a Dabo is ready enough to start, or maybe even a Casey Palmer. But I don't see many changes for this game. I don't think we should fear West Brom. I think we're actually I think what we are is a better side against teams that come on at us. We're a good counter-attacking team. When we play against teams that put 11 men behind the ball and quite defensive, we do struggle. Like the Reading game, for example, we have a lot of the ball, but we do struggle. I think West Brom will be a different game. I think there'll be a team. They'll take the game to us. They're not going to come to CBS and be happy with a point. They'll be wanting 3 points because they're almost. I mean, it's almost like with West Brom. They're almost like this season's or last season's Nottingham Forest a bit, aren't they? Because they were near the bottom, and now they've gone on 5 wins. So they're due a defeat, and I'm hoping it will come on Wednesday. I mean, do you feel confident, Myles, that we can bounce back on this for this game?
Yeah, definitely. I think as Ken was saying earlier, the way we played in that first 60 minutes, 65 minutes, we were playing some amazing football, and I believe that we can go on and beat West Brom. We looked like we were before the World Cup break. To be honest with you, that game on Saturday, yeah, okay, we let it slip, but we did really, really play some beautiful football, and you can't knock it. It's fantastic, and if we play like that, we'll beat West Brom. The only thing I'll be worried about is the physicality of West Brom. They're quite big, they're quite strong. We're quite small in the middle. But then again, look at the way Hamer's playing lately. Since he's had his red card, he hasn't been booked, I don't think.
No, I don't think he has, to be honest.
No, he's not flying in. He's calmed himself down, and he's become a better player for calming himself down. And you've only got to look at him. He's a little terrier, and he'll get at him. And O'Hare, well, what can I say? The player's just brilliant at pushing on and closing it down further up the pitch, and that's what we've got to try and do. I maybe probably see Casey Palmer coming in, to be honest with you, if he's 100% fit. Give Jamie Allen a rest, and play Casey and O'Hare just to push us up the field a little bit quicker, and put the pressure on West Brom, because if the big players at the back, they're going to be slow to turn, and those 2 players have got a little bit of pace about them.
I think you've got to factor in. We've got quite a few games the next few days. You've got Sheffield United away on Boxing Day, then you've got Cardiff on the 28th. There is going to be a lot of games to be played. So I wouldn't be surprised if maybe Dabo, Casey Palmer probably come into the team maybe for one of those games. Maybe maybe even Wednesday. But I think he might rotate with what he's got left to rotate with. But it's kind of the worst part of the season now, isn't it? Because obviously the Christmas period is when you get quite a few games on the trot, and you could pick up more injuries, it could be more suspensions, and it's really going to test not just the players but the management and how they utilise this squad now. Because you said earlier, Myles, 21 players is a very, very small squad for a 46 game season, and that's the thing that is quite worrying, really. I think like all games, I think it's, if we can get that first goal, then I think we've got a real chance. But I feel if they score first, I think it's gonna be really tough. If I have to be honest, I think West Brom playing at really the worst time possible, and it's not a game I'm feeling massively confident in, really. I can see us losing this game. And I know I'm not the most positive Coventry City fan in the world. Whoever listens to me, but I'm not even going to sit on the fence for this one. I think we're going to lose 3-1. That's how I feel.
Really?
Not confident at all. No, I'm not. And I said I'm useless at prediction. In fairness,
oh come on, Mark! Come on.
I can't see it. Can't see it this game because if we're playing a team near the bottom who lost a few games, then I'd say fair enough. But West Brom, look, 5 games on the trot they've won.
Don't matter. We won 4.
But before that, we were 6 games.
Tell me a reason why we're going to win this game. Come on, cheer me up.
I think because we're at home, we've got good form at home. We haven't lost many games. Not many teams have beat us 3-1 this season, I don't think, have they? Since we've turned our form, most of our games that we have lost have been pretty close. Yeah. And we shouldn't have lost at Reading the other week. And we all know what happened on Saturday. But we've been in games. We're still picking, we picked a point up. And I just think our home form will be good enough to beat West Brom on the day. I really do. West Brom might be a different team at home, but away from home, I think we can beat them. No problem.
Yeah, they won at their last away game was at Sunderland. They won 2-1, and Sunderland were 1-0 up at half time. And then, from what I saw, West Brom came back to it very strong. Yeah, to me, it's like in any game of football. It's about game management. We've got to manage this game. We've got to do a better job hopefully for this game if we're lucky enough to be in the lead. But of course we can win. But I just feel the run at West Brom are on at the moment. I can't see us getting anything. I really don't. And
everyone's run's got to come to an end, Mark.
I get that. Yeah,
they ain't going to go on and win every game. We say it week in, week out. We can't win every game. They can't win every game. And the fans are upset. They've returned half of their tickets. So they ain't going to have as many fans. So, at the end of the day, we just got to go for it. You've got to go for it the way we went yesterday. And we've got to just keep going and going and going and don't give up. We just got to keep digging away and digging away. If we go at them like we did, especially the second half yesterday, straight from the kickoff second half, we went and scored. So if we go at them like that from the off, we'll beat them. It's Christmas. It's Christmas.
Oh, it's Christmas.
That's going to be our Christmas present. We're going to beat the Baggies.
Yeah, well, that'd be brilliant because the last time we played the Baggies at home was on my birthday, and I didn't get my birthday present of 3 points. So hopefully I'll get a Christmas present instead. I think. You're right. Any game's winnable, and they've won we won 4 on the trot. I guess the only thing I will say is we're getting miles the leg, so to speak, from the games we're playing. Players are getting sort of fitter from the games, but I looked at the West Brom win yesterday against Rotherham, and they looked very clinical in front of goal, and that's the thing. They looked a team high in confidence, but football's a funny old game, isn't it? You never know. But
for 65 minutes,
I'm just not feeling it. I'm not feeling.
But for 65 minutes, we looked like a team with a load of confidence.
Yeah, no, we were, but the problem is game management, and if we're in that position where we are ahead, it's how you manage that situation. We didn't manage it very well.
We didn't, but I think they'll learn from that. They'll learn from that on Saturday. They'll look. But Robbins will have them in. He'll look through the videos and they'll point out where the mistakes were made, and they'll learn from that. They're a young side, but they're a good side. But they will learn from the mistakes, and I think Big Vic will be relishing the chance to play in West Brom. I think. And they won't be looking forward to playing us, to be fair. I don't think they really will. They'll have more to worry about us than we worry about them.
No.
Well, Swansea had 2 players on Vic on Saturday, and he still turned them and ran at them.
Yeah.
No, he's a machine, to be fair, Vic. He's been brilliant. And we talk about injuries. That's one player we cannot afford to lose for injury.
No,
as Colin mentioned, imagine if Victor gets injured as well. I don't want to imagine it, to be fair, Colin.
No, we're not imagining that one, Colin.
No, sorry, mate, but we don't want that to happen, obviously.
Oh, no.
So West Brom, going to get some predictions for this one. How do you think it's going to go? Come on, give me some reasons why we're going to beat West Brom, Ken.
I think we'll win 3-1. I think we'll win quite convincingly. I think our home form, okay, we had a little bit of a blip on Saturday. Our home form overall throughout the season has been pretty good. And we're just getting back into the groove. And I think West Brom are there to be beaten. They are improved. They've improved a hell of a lot since Steve Bruce left. But I don't, I think on the day we are a better team than them. And I think we'll show that on Wednesday night.
Miles?
3-1.
Oh,
3-1.
We're gonna win. I do believe we're gonna win. I think just think they would have put that to bed from yesterday, and they'll go, right, if we've done it against them, we'll do it against West Brom. Because when you think about it, you look at Swansea, look at West Brom, we're all in the same sort of position in the league. We've all had good runs. Swansea have drawn, was it 5 out their last 7? They lost 2 out their last 7. West Brom have gone on and won 5 on the bounce. But as I say, every team, you can't go on and win every game. Just look at Norwich yesterday. And then, there's only probably one team that's going to win the league. That's going to be Burnley. But that's understandable. They got all the money. So, they can buy their way out of this league. I think Watford will as well in the January window. But I'm going for a win. I'm going for a 2-0 win on Wednesday. And I just think that West Brom won't be able to cope with Callum O'Hare, to be honest with you. I think they're going to struggle with Callum because he just gets us up the pitch. I think Webby's just come on and said it's going to be 2-1. So, it's...
I'll be delighted to. Well, I'll delighted any win, to be fair.
Yeah, but... so are you sitting on the fence or are you going for a defeat then, Mark?
Yeah. I'm going West Brom, I think.
He's not fine.
Yeah. 3-1, I'm going West Brom. I just don't.
I think it's going to be the other way around. So
I hope so. Look. I'll find some mince pies. It's the Christmas season, and I'll be eating some mince pies live in the studio, and that's my sort of charity bet. If we win, I'll find some. I don't like mince pies, to be honest, but I'll bring some mince pies for the purpose of the show, and I'll be eating them if we win. So there you go. That's the charity. That's the charity bet.
Well, Ken O'Tomo's just come up. He says bookies are saying 31% us, 28% drawn, 41% them.
Yeah. Well, it is. It is on current form. You'd say that, but look, games aren't won on current form. It's about on the day, and it's a game. I mean, look, I remember I've said games before this season. I think Sheffield United at home. I didn't think we'd win there. We won 1-0, and they were pretty average. Cardiff away, I said on the podcast we'd lose to Cardiff. We won 1-0. So usually I'm a very poor predictor. But I think the important thing is if we can get that win, just aside from all the prediction stuff, if we can get this win, it will make a massive boost to our confidence. Let's imagine that, because I think yesterday psychologically, when you're 3-0 up in a game with 20 minutes to go, and we only get a draw out of it, and okay, it could have been worse, we could have lost. It must affect the players psychologically, and that's the thing I worry about for this game. Is Robins? I don't think it should be, the approach shouldn't necessarily be. And Robin said it himself on the interview yesterday. He's not a manager who throws the teacups at players when this sort of thing happens. It's important to really just to G him up, give him a bit of confidence, arm around the shoulder. I don't know, but we need to get over it yesterday, and we need to focus on West Brom. We get 3 points. It's West Brom. When was it 1 point off the playoffs, Miles? We can't be that far off the playoffs if we win.
Yeah, so if we win Wednesday, we're 1 point off the playoffs. We're still a game in hand, and we're the only team playing this week. So other teams have played their games from the death of Her Royal Highness. So we could be going into Boxing Day, beating Sheffield United to go into the top 6. But the thing is, you say it might affect the players. I believe it will affect the players in the opposite way. I think that they will be so angry and so fed up with themselves. And because of the way the team is, they are so determined. You've only got to look how they perform and how they work as a team. They will all help each other out over the next couple of days. They'll probably put their arms around each other. They'll probably go and have a game of pool somewhere just to chill out, get it out of the system, And because of the way we play, we're such a team, so gelled together that Big Vic and everyone just want to go and annihilate West Brom. He's going to be. You've only got to see when Vic scored his goal, his celebration down in the corner by us. He was like, "Get in," because he didn't score against Reading. That goal meant so much to him yesterday that he was over the moon. And I think that all the team will feel the same, and they'll go out Wednesday night and they'll just go at them. There's something about it. The way we played that 65, I'm going to say it again, 65 minutes, we played some fantastic football.
Oh,
the
brilliant,
football we've been seeing this season and last season has just been phenomenal. And I believe that they'll bounce back because they are that sort of a team. They're not a team to fall out. They don't fall out with each other. They back each other. You've only got to see Doyle when Vic scored his goal. Doyle come running all the way from the halfway line to the corner to jump on him.
Yeah.
That's how much they're a team, and
Right.
that's what it's about. That's what it's about.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think the team spirit is you can never question team spirit.
No, never.
But it's and yeah, I mean, I hope you're right. Look, I hope that we use this game as a motivation to go to take it to West Brom and get a win. I do, but I just worry. I look at West Brom. I look at the way they played against Rotherham yesterday. They looked very dominant. They looked a team playing with a lot of confidence. But I think I just don't feel that confident about this game. But you never know. I'm happy to have my mince pie next show if that's the case. So I can hold me to it if you want. That's fine. But
you can buy us all a selection box.
Yeah. When I'm next up at the tavern or Dylan's, I'll bring some up. Don't worry. But let's look at the next couple of games. So after West Brom, and then you got Sheffield United and Cardiff. I actually feel we could get even St. at Sheffield United actually, and I know it sounds a bit weird because we actually haven't got as bad a record as Sheffield United. And Cardiff at home, I think we can win. So that's me being positive for a change. Out of those next three games, West Brom, Cardiff, or Sheffield United, Cardiff, how many points do you think we can get? That's a question to both Myles and Kim. Who wants to go first?
I think we can get at least 4 points out of them. Maybe a draw at Sheffield United, and certainly a win against Cardiff. I don't think we'll get beat at Sheffield United. I think we'll either win or get a draw. Just because we're the sort of team they are, and we've played them a couple of times now, and we've got a couple of good results against them, even at home especially. But away, we haven't got a bad record against them, to be honest. But I think we can definitely get a point there on Boxing Day, and then we can beat Cardiff at home, I think, no problem at all, and do the double over them. That'll be good. So 4 points I'll be happy with. 6 points will be a bonus.
Yeah.
Would you go along with that, Myles?
I'm going the same as Ken there. 4 points. I think we'll get a draw. I'll be happy with a draw Boxing Day. That'd be brilliant. Sheffield United are playing tomorrow night against Wigan. But yeah, I just think we'll get a lovely point away from home Boxing Day. Maybe sneak it. You never know. I believe we'll beat Cardiff at home. We sort of always had a good result against Cardiff at home, so that's spot on. And then New Year's Day, probably get another 3 points against Bristol City. To be honest with you,
yeah.
So, yeah. I'll probably say
you got to look to your home games, haven't you? And then get anything bonus away from home.
Yeah.
So if we get 6 points in the next two home games, and then get a Sheffield, that's not bad, is it? Really?
No, really good.
Yeah, I think we can get a point at Sheffield United. I think we can beat Cardiff, and I think we can beat Bristol City. So I think we can, if we can get a result Wednesday night, I think it can set us up nicely. But I think my concern is the lack of players available in the squad, which is another reason why I feel we could struggle midweek. And obviously, looking further ahead with the transfer window and what's happened with the ownership side, I know people have been saying that it looks like King will be the new owner of the club, which hopefully that will be ratified by the EFL. Then we can look forward, hopefully, then to strengthen the squad and then we could think about, can we then get possibly playoffs? And that's the thing. That's the difference between talking about playoffs and talking about just staying up. Because under CC, realistically, all we're going to get is staying in the Championship. And bearing in mind, we were a club that were not that, over 20 years ago, a Premier League club for 34 years. We've got to try and aim our sights high as a club. We've got to be a club that want to get back into the big time, want to be a Premier League club, and we need money to do that. I'm not saying lots of money, but enough money to not be starved off relegation every season, which is what we'll end up being with CC, as we know, for the last 15 years or so. And it wasn't for Mark Robbins' genius, we wouldn't be where we are at the moment. So, but I think looking ahead, we can definitely. I think it would be a massive boost to win on Wednesday. Make no bones about it. It's like, I think you could really set us up nicely for Sheffield United. And I don't think we should fear any team in this league. I think as you said earlier, Burnley for me are streets ahead of everyone in this league, and they'll win the league at a canter. But other than that, I think any team is beatable in this league. It's just about having that belief, that confidence. I'm just the reason why I was a bit concerned about Wednesday is because of the fragility of the squad, how that's going to affect how the Swansea comeback might affect the players. But as you rightly say, Miles, it could go the other way. Players would be more determined to put that result right, and hopefully it's the latter. That's what we want. So, fingers crossed.
Well, I've just come across some comments we've missed out on. Colin White said King is this week is happening this week, and then we've got someone else who said the same. Webby from the Tenerife Sky Blue Army, he said King sorted this week 100%. So a few people are starting to think that King's the man, but we'll wait and see. I'm surprised it hasn't already been announced, to be honest with you.
Yeah, well, as I say, they were set to be announced start of last week, and nothing got said. So at times, just let nature take its course. But it needs to be sorted soon, as you said earlier, because January is not that far away now. And then, so yeah, let's fingers crossed that all takes effect, and then hopefully we can start to progress the club, and then the other sorts of contention would be then the ground, and hopefully we can get a long-term deal with the CBS, because obviously we're only signed for until the end of the season, and then there's a few things that need to get sorted out, and but yeah, I mean, if King gets sorted, then the proof of the pudding will be in January. Can we keep hold of our best players? Is he a man of his word? Can we then will we be able to have the money to buy players if we need to strengthen positions?
And it'll be interesting. Robbins has never had any money, has he? So it'll be interesting to see what Robbins does when he does get some money, and what sort of caliber player he brings in. Because at the moment, he's been bringing in, bringing in good signings. Don't get me wrong, but they're players that have cost next to nothing really. So if we don't need a lot of money really, do we? Just a couple of million or whatever to keep us going, and as long as we don't sell anybody and just bring the players in here and there, strengthen maybe at the back or maybe somebody else up front if Godden's going to be out long term. We don't need a lot, to be honest. As long as we keep the players we've got, that's important.
Yeah, I think we were talking about this the other day, weren't we, Ken? That I think maybe bring in three loans. Maybe like Webby's just put up here, Dean Austin. Maybe he knows a couple of people at Spurs or some other grounds, and bring in 3 loans because you're allowed 5, and then maybe bring in. Well, you don't have to spend any money. Look what we did with Casey Palmer, and maybe just bring in a few frees. It might just work that way. It's always, we say we want to spend money, but it's not always the amount that the player is going to cost. It's about the wages. So maybe we bring in some high-profile freebies that are going to run out of contract. Or we get them at a cheaper price in January, maybe, but they always skyrocket the prices. But maybe bring someone in that's free, but we can pay them more wages, because that's where we always get the sticking point. It's not buying them; it's the wages. That's what always the sticking point is. And
I think we've got one of the lowest budgets, if not the lowest, in the league, haven't we?
Easily.
So we need to up that. We need to, make sure we keep the players we've got, get them on better contracts if need be. We've got a bit of money spare, and bring some quality players in where we need to strengthen. And Robin
you say that, Ken, about the lowest budget. When you look at Reading last week, they got Andy Carroll. How much money is he on?
Well, I bet you he's on a good, I'd say at least 20k plus.
And who was it? Who came on? It was who come on? Was it?
He's got to be on 20k, and that's higher than any of our players.
Easily. They've got a few players that are going to be on magnificent wages, and that's always the thing for us. We've always struggled to get players because of the wages. Maybe this is if King comes in, if Ashley comes in, or Story, or whoever else is out there that we've never heard of comes in. It's the wages, and we've got to sort that out. And then maybe Robbins will get his targets, because he always says he's got no money. But but Keno's put here. Who do you think will sell in January?
Well, no one, hopefully.
We don't know.
We might have to get a couple of players that are not in the squad at the moment. They might come off the wage bill, but hopefully we won't sell any of the main three anyway.
Yeah. Well, let's see what this week brings. Hopefully, we're going to have a positive week on and off the field. Win against West Brom, despite what I said earlier, and we'll get the ownership situation sorted. So fingers crossed for that. But I'll close the show out and say thanks, Myles and Ken, for being a great guest as usual. Got another show going to be on Thursday, and hopefully I'll be bringing some mince pies into the show, and the humble pie, shall I say, and then we'll be talking Sheffield United on Boxing Day. So that's our next show, Thursday, 7:30.
No, live at Dylan's Wednesday.
Dylan's on Wednesday. Oh, of course, yes. Roving reporter. So if anyone's around at Dylan's, please say hi to Myles. He'll be with his microphone and be filming live. Give us your predictions. Tell us. Unlike me, you're going to say Coventry's going to win, and say that I'm very negative and all that, but that's fine. I don't mind being called that. But thanks everyone, all seriously. Thanks everyone for listening. Play up Sky Blues. We're going to leave you with our sponsors, and then.
Can I just say one thing?
Go on, Myles.
No, because I'm not here Thursday. Merry Christmas to all our listeners, all our subscribers, and thank you all so much for everyone that's subscribed. We're over 3,000 now on Twitter. Yeah. Congratulations, all of you. You've been brilliant. Thanks for your support. Have a great Christmas. I'll see you all Wednesday and Boxing Day outside Sheffield's ground. But guys, Merry Christmas to you, Mark. Merry Christmas to you, Ken, and all our followers and everything.
Merry Christmas.
Well said. Thanks, Myles. All right. Well, we'll end the show. Thanks everyone for listening. Play out Sky Blues, and we'll speak to you on Thursday. Good night.
Good night.
2, 1, 2, 3, 4.